Hails! Okay, I'm Aernath, and after countless aeons, I'm finally back with another How Would I Do It episode. Lots happened in real life. I changed jobs, I moved, I even have a better internet even. Still lazy as ever, but at last I have finally proved this project from the dusty void, and here we are. So before we begin all my babble, I must say I loved Dragonflight. From the first reveal, I read almost every interview, I guess I watched every video. I did even test Dragonflight in beta. Well, actually I entered beta a bit late. I have been in every beta since Cataclysm and every alpha since Legion, but this time, for some unknown reason, no invite or any mail arrived, but I didn't quit. In the end, I literally had to earn it, so I won the beta invite from a lore trivia contest. Let me show you that. Yes, this was the lore trivia contest, and as you see, they were easy and everyone was copying each other, so kind of a teamwork community for the win there. But the moral of the story here is, if you're held back and stuff are not given to you anymore, still do not give up. Grab it by its foot and take it. As you see, it works. I earned it. After all, important thing is the result, and finally I had beta access and I was totally amazed to win, literally, and with every meaning of the word. And since then I am occasionally testing every new build and even level the character to the Onaran planes. Maybe I'll keep going, but so little time left anyways, and I may want to save some other content surprise for a first go. But still, even with my very small time testing, I can say it's totally revolutionary, especially giving a thing like dragon riding from the start of the expansion, and finally getting rid of that Pathfinder nonsense is quite amazing. Zone stories are amazing, zones themselves are amazing, zero exaggeration. It's a lot more alt-friendly from the start. I really honestly have zero bad things to say about Dragonflight. So to summarize, even at the beta stage, I loved it. Can't wait for it to go live. And since now you have learned how much I really loved what I saw about the upcoming expansion, for not being misunderstood, I must still emphasize this does not mean this is a Dragonflight is bad, even I would make it better kind of video. Nope, not at all. This is strictly just for fun, some kind of a thought gymnastics, and to expand our own horizons with some crazy game design ideas. In that sense, you can think it like a what if video set in an unlucky alternate universe where after some series of unfortunate events I was asked to make this Dragonflight expansion's concept. What? Oh damn! So, if that would happen, how would I do it? See? The name comes from there, you get it, right? Yeah, you do. You're clever viewers. So, here is how. Let's start with my little things from the other side, and the name, Dragonflight. Are we happy about it? Hell yeah, we are. It's charismatic, one word, lots of lore implications, dragons, light, flying, dragons reintroduced, high fantasy. Yes, Dragonflight, it's perfect. It's awesome, zero change needed. Check. What's next? Story. Well, overall, I think at first glance it's very nice. So I won't even attempt to meddle with the story team's insane efforts there. Maybe some people would want to see the big bad from the start, but thankfully I've never been one of those. I love me some cool mystery to solve and theorize, and since we know it will be told as expansion unfolds with the upcoming content patches, no need to get into that at all. So again, zero change needed for story either. Check. Features. Now, this is where I would step in and make some crazy decisions and throw some ideas. So hear me out. Yes, features. Drag the Revokers. Cancel. Oh no, no new race and class. Instead, how about we get Dragon Soulbinds, your own new chatty dragon mounts / followers. Also Dragonflight, the new and enhanced flight system written separate, and heroic class specializations specs, the long awaited 4th specs. Alright, but what are these and how will this happen? Let's dive into those one by one so I can explain. First we have, of course, not my desktop, but okay, finally. Sorry about that. Dragon Soulbinds. Now, you can guess it from the name, and I assume you may be a tiny bit allergic to the word Soulbind, understandable, but no worries, it's here just for lore reasons. And yes, it implies that these are your dragon friends to level with you, your open world companions and new talkative, chatty and spell blasting dragon mounts, all at the same time. So, new introduction experience. While implementing this feature, we can also alter the introduction experience to Dragon Isles a bit too, so we can get our dragon mounts a lot faster. Since we said our goodbyes to Draktyr, we can use their introduction as our base, alter it a little bit so every player can go through this story and in the end get their mounts from the start. We can do it like this. You will do the intro quests. Instead of Draktyr, we will save some altered dragon eggs and assist the NPCs who were protecting them. And when you finish the quest line and step onto the Dragon Isles for the first time, you will save one of the altered chromatic dragon eggs without a certain color. Carry the egg on your bag and at the ending of the introduction, help it to hatch. Until the point where you hatch your dragon, you will have a temporary dragon helper instead of the Draktyr ratio with a needlessly long cooldown. This time, you will be able to mount your helper from the start of the introduction and right there start to learn dragon riding and simple air combat. Yes, no worries, I will get to that. So basically an integrated tutorial right with the starting quest. Now, naturally, at first you will have a hatchling, a baby dragon, but one with a promise to grow quickly, like how Gul'dan aged Garona in the lore. But this time, our good old returning big dragons will help us with this in a very good way. And we will help around our baby dragon a bit, prepare some ritual together, and meanwhile meet and get close, give a name, help to decide on a color, body type, all the basic starter look but with small chat instead. Then when it's time, we'll make it grow with our Dragon Isles magic and cleanse our dragons from the Deathwing curse. Epic cutscene time, introduction ending. So, at this part, we pass to Dragon Soulbinds customization. Now, when you were going through the introduction, you were meeting your dragon and learn and also decide about the appearance of your future follower and mount. These features of customizations are just there as a starter appearance, and when you finish, both the talents and your Dragon Soulbinds appearance will always be available to change whenever you are out of combat. You will just pop up your Dragon Soulbind interface and change whatever you like, save presets, talents, outlooks, etc. all the way. This will use a combination of dragon customization and visage customization. And the difference is, unlike the drag tier, our dragon's visage form will have the access to all of the World of Warcraft's races and their customizations that you have already unlocked. All the allied races and everything, plus the draconic features like the dragon eyes, horns and everything. So, you will have this. Remove myself. When we do all that customization for the first time, at the ending of the introduction, from that point we will have our own interactive, chatty, customizable dragon follower, where we want and when we want. When it's required, our good friend will kindly turn into a dragon and fly with us when we ask, or go into the visage or humanoid form and hang around on foot. Some classes will have interesting variations for this too, and yes, we will come to that too eventually. Patience. So, right before questing in zones, we will have a Dragon Soulbind to help us as a dragon to ride and to battle on air, on and on ground with certain familiar evoker skills, and as a follower and friend to help us understand the story firsthand and to level with us side by side. After that point, our Dragon Soulbind will always be with us, and that will be wherever flying is available. Our dragon will be ready to fly us up and burn the air and ground. Yes, of course, it should be everywhere. Silver Moon and even Olympus, Portia, Mau and Argus too. You will be able to call your dragon friend to assist you with everything everywhere, either with battle or with some flying around or a casual chat, either in visage form at a campfire or maybe while hovering on air above a city when you are on your dragon's back. And yes, our Dragonflight has hover, because it's also a must. So, Dragon Soulbind and Chat AI, I'm always saying, remember, from the moment we met them while they were eggs, we bonded with our dragons, got close to them and asked them about who they were, how they want to look. Those were also an introduction to this. As an extra fun feature, your Soulbinds, Dragon Soulbinds, will have a multi-choice chat AI, and depending on your choices while creating them and later whenever you customize them, they will have certain personality traits also built in this AI for some unique fun chats. Overall, with this new approach, our aim will be to combine the best features from our Legion and Warlords of Draenor followers, the fun training and leveling together feel of Nether Drakes and Pandaria's Cloud Serpents, all brought together with awesome customizations brought with Dractyr, and finally all of those perfectly combined with the amazing dragon riding skills, enhanced into Dragonflight and dragon customizations to reach the most magical and fantastic results, aptly named Dragon Soulbinds. Ta-da! So, as we have mentioned several times, what is this Dragonflight? The air combat. Why mess things up? Okay, let me explain. Now, let's get a bit deeper, or go higher with this flight system. Dragon riding amazed us all. It totally sounds and feels amazing, that's for sure, but how could it be adapted to our Dragon Soulbinds? Maybe with some enhancements too. Before everything, as I told before, our Dragon Soulbinds can hover on air, just to show off, and to fight. Take an aerial stance from time to time. But besides the hovering, what else is different? Dragon riding into Dragonflight. How would I do it? Yeah. Like this. Combined Dragonflight talent system. When you ask your Dragon Soulbind, I need you in your dragon form, your Soulbind will transform to its glorious dragon form and you will climb on its back, just like the mount summoning. This will be a 1.5 second cast spell, and we will have the option to dismount. Chat, ask our dragon to turn into the visage form. Of course, we should all use these commands carefully. Our little dragon soulbind may be intimidating and cool looking, but actually just a noob following our group commands, so you may both be falling down to your doom if you're not careful. Just like disabling a monk. But anyways, if we all act responsibly, our dragon will become a grown dragon, and at this point your interface will change and you will have a new Dragon Soulbind skill set at your action bar, combining the dragon riding skills and some familiar evoker skills in a more simplified way, of course, than the evoker class and spec skills. Your Dragon Soulbind talent tree will also be looking like a more complicated dragon riding talent tree, and also at the same time a very simplified evoker talent tree, enriched with attack and heal spells, of which you will be able to use on air, yes, while flying in the open world and in dragon instances. Yes, we'll come to those too. So, a kind-wide Dragon Soulbind leveling. As we have taught before, you will level your dragon, unlock the new skills and talent with yourself as you unfold the story of Dragon Isles and explore each zone. Your dragon will also reach level 70 with you, and also will be available to call with all of your alts in that account with an appropriate level and access to Dragon Isles, of course. All progress, choices, customizations will be account-wide, and once unlocked, will be shared with all your characters too. Cool, right? So, dragon instances. Naturally, your Dragon Soulbinds will not be able to get into every dungeon, raid, or battleground you go, claiming that those are your own battles, and as a great and proven champion, you will have to face them alone. But they will help you out in the world by assisting against the dangers that threaten Azeroth. They will also help you face your enemies on air, attack flying foes, and unleash their powers on them. This will turn into faction battles, or in certain situations open world dungeons and raids where your dragon will step in and assist you, and your friends will also have the same option. Here we will have an extended set of features like this: Dragon Battlegrounds, Dragon Aernath for PvP, and Dragon Dungeons, Dragon Raids for PvE. Okay, anyways, you get the idea, I assume. You do. Thanks. Then let's continue. Heroic class specs, also known as horde specs. Now the word heroic creates some expectation, I guess, and it totally should, because these will be our extra specs for our current classes, and since I've cut down 4 Director Evokers in my version, I should suggest a very tempting alternative, right? And this is that. So how would I do it? Yeah. First of all, there will be no game side unlocking requirements for playing the heroic specs. Only thing you have to have is Dragonflight expansion on your account, and these will be unlocked and at your service to switch and play. The philosophy of these are to increase the not so very popular spots of roles, so there will be alternatives, but we will also add more tank and healer choices. Also, since druids already have the 4 spec awesomeness, they won't get a 5th one. Sorry druidos, but demon hunters have just 2 and will get 2. So we will equalize the numbers in total. The common traits of the heroic specs will be armor mastery and conversion. These are armor mastery is able to use different armor types at the same time without any penalties. Conversion is able to convert all primary stats on their weapons and gear to the one they need. Without further ado, to give a general idea, I better list the current 36 specs and add the heroic specs I would suggest. As a note before we start, I didn't prepare any graphics or example images for these, and I won't get into deep mechanics of each spec, and since there are already lots of NPCs, Warcraft 3 heroes and countless fan arts about them, I'll leave the details to your imagination. But I assume the trainers I'll mention and the themes of their skills will give a very nice idea about them. Also, we will have some small class changes and additions on the side as nice bonuses. So let's quickly go through all those, right? Okay, here we go. Death Knights already have Blood and Frost and Unholy. Our first heroic spec is Necromancer, Spellcaster DPS. They can use staves, daggers, offense, and their armor mastery is they can use mail and blade at the same time, and they convert all the strength to intellect. And their trainer is Margraves Indeed. Demon Hunters already have Vengeance and Havoc. Their first heroic spec is Souleater, a spellcaster DPS class. They can use staves, daggers, offense, and polearms actually. Their armor mastery is they can use cloth and leather at the same time, and they can convert agility to intellect. They are trained by Alari the Souleater. Demon Hunter's second heroic spec is Betrayer. They are healers, and they use a light demon form from the cutscenes. They can use staves, daggers, offense, and they can use cloth and leather at the same time. They can convert agility to intellect, and they are trained by none other than Notraxi. Also, Demon Hunters will have a new class spell, Untethered Doomguard Wings. It will be unlocked by confronting an escaped elite Doomguard trying to reform the Legion. Killing it and stealing its wings will give you this new spell, and it will be used for a dragon riding style flight. As we said before, druids already have 4 specs, so no heroic specs for druids. But they will have a new class spell named Dragon Form. It will be unlocked by learning the biggest secret of the Emerald Dream with the help of Meritra, by entering a dangerous vision alone and achieving the highest point of shapeshifting skills. When you use this form on your Dragon Soulbinds, will either fly by your side or hop on your back instead in visage form, depending on your choice. Fair trade, right? So, hunters. First, we will have some serious rework on 2 of the current specs, like how I suggested at my previous episodes. Hunters still need saving. So, how will it be? Like this. Beast Mastery is fully reworked, now a melee DPS, inspired by Rexar. They can control up to 3 beasts at the same time. Also, Beastmasters are able to dual wield one-handed agility weapons and control 3 beasts at the same time. Second and third pets will share the old second pet's damage coming from the talent, and will have an extra utility skill with cooldown to control and share damage to a second target, like a second intimidation combined with the usage of Warlock's Havoc spell. As a bonus, all main Beastmaster pets are now able to be mounted, and for all hunters, all pets will fly alongside you if they can fly, just like they do on the ground, and just like how the battle pets always did. Marksmanship has no change. Survival is also fully reworked. Now it's a damage over time based ranged DPS. It's inspired by the original version of the spec and will focus more on poisons, traps and stealth. And of course, camouflage will have no cooldown, and will also have the option of going lone wolf and play without a pet like the Marksmanship hunters. And finally, our long-awaited fourth hunter spec, Shadow Hunter. It will be a healer and at the same time a melee DPS inspired by Warcraft 3 hero class. Will work like a mix of Holy Paladin and a melee Disc Priest. They can use stealth, they will be able to use Warglaives, they can use 3 armor types, cloth, leather and mail, and they can convert agility to intellect. And they are trained by Vol'jin, now a Law of Kings. Unpause. Also, they can focus on DPS or heal depending on the talent choices. That's another detail I missed there, sorry. Now switching. Mage already has 3 spellcaster DPS specs. Now, first of all, they will have a new class spell, Summon Familiar. All 3 of the old mage specs will now have the option of summoning a familiar tank pet according to their specs. And Frost will still have their original Frost Elemental to use for DPS, if not using the Lonely Winter talent, and they can still summon Icy Familiar as a tank pet and have 2 pets at the same time if they want. When tank pet is active, spell damage is reduced by 10% for all specs. And Mage heroic spec is Battlemage. They are tank inspired by the NPC hero class, and they use arcane time spells to delay or reflect damage, and they can dual wield staves at the main hand and one-handed weapons at the offhand. They can bear cloth and plate at the same time, and they can convert intellect to strength. They are trained by the retired Battlemage Aernath of the former Shattered Sun offensive. Monk heroic spec will be Stormbender. It's a spellcaster DPS. They can use staves, daggers, offense. They can wear cloth and leather at the same time, and they can convert agility to intellect. And they are trained by a grown-up Lily Stormstout. Paladin. Paladin heroic spec is Dark Crusader. They are spellcaster DPS. They can also be named Shadow Paladin. Just like how priests have a shadow aspect, these paladins infuse Holy Paladin skills with shadow, with signature spells like Void Shock, and use them to damage the enemies instead of healing. So you can think it like the exact dark version of the Holy Paladin. They can use staves too, and able to wear cloth and plates at the same time, and they can convert strength to intellect, and they are trained by Leonid Bartholomew the Man. Priest. Priest heroic spec is Dark Cleric. They are melee DPS. They can use two-handed weapons. They prefer to use two-handed weapons, polearms, staves. They can wear cloth and leather at the same time, and they can convert intellect to strength. And they use shadow to enhance their weapons, like somewhat of a mix of Retribution Paladin and Enhancement Shaman, but instead of light and elements, they use shadow and void. And they are trained by Dark Cleric Alonso's Paul. Rogue. Besides the three old specs, our new heroic spec is Combat. It's a tank spec, an ode to the old combat spec. These rogues master the evasion mechanics and self-heal. Also, they use special poisons on themselves to enhance their reflexes and self-healing abilities. Also to weaken their attackers. They can dual wield two-handed weapons. They can convert strength on weapons and gear to agility, and they can also wear mail armor besides leather. And they are trained by Margrave Draka. You can think this spec is like a combination of Guardian Druid and Black Death Knight, but instead of rage and runes, they use energy and combo points like other rogues, and protection paladins. Shamans. Besides our three old specs, first of all, we will have a new class spell for Shamans, Earth Elemental Mastery. When you activate this skill before summoning your Earth Elemental, your summon will be permanent and without cooldown, but you will lose 10% damage and heat. Also, this cannot be used as a Primalist. What is the Primalist? There are Shaman heroic spec. Primalist is a tank inspired by the classic hybrid build. They use rock pointer mechanics and enhanced version of the old Shaman tanking abilities. They use one-handed weapons, including swords, with shields. They can wear mail and plate at the same time, and they convert strength to agility. and they are trained by Primalist Goel, none other than a Thrall. Warlock. Our old specs are same, but one has a changed name. Our old Demonology is now called Summoner, and our heroic spec for Warlocks is Demonologist. They are a tank spec, ode to the old off-tank spec version of the Demonology of early Mists of Pandaria times. These Warlocks will not use pets, and instead they are able to use the powers of their enslaved demons to enhance themselves for extra stamina and self-healing. But unlike demon hunters, they can't turn into demons anymore, but still their appearance will be altered dramatically when they tap into their demon's powers. They can use staves and one-handed weapons at the same time. They dual wield staves at main hand and one-handed weapons at offhand. Somewhat like the dark version of the Battlemages. Also, they convert strength and agility to intellect, and they are trained by Grandmaster Demonologist Conrad Evenlock. I hope I read that right. Warriors. So, besides the old specs, our heroic warrior spec is Spellbreaker. They are a melee DPS / tank, and ode to the Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft hero class, uses two-handed weapons at main hand and shield at offhand, and depending on their talent choices they can be full power tanks or melee damage dealers, especially powerful against the spellcasters and healers. Spellbreakers have two interrupt skills. One is more powerful and silencing, other is ranged and hits multiple targets. Also, they can steal and reflect spells with greater effectiveness. And they are trained by Kalegos. Yes, that's all. To sum up, here are our new 12 heroic specs. Necromancer Death Knight, Spellcaster DPS, Souleater Demon Hunter, also Spellcaster DPS, Betrayer Demon Hunter is healer, Shadow Hunters are healer and melee DPS, Battlemages are tanks, Stormbender Monks are Spellcaster DPS, Dark Crusader Wings are also Spellcaster DPS, Dark Cleric Priests are melee DPS, Combat Rogues are tank, Primalist Shamans are also tank, Demonologist Warlocks are also a tank, and Spellbreaker Warriors are melee DPS / tanks. So, we will have 5 new tank specs, 4 new Spellcaster DPS, 3 new melee DPS, and 2 new healer specs with these. Of course, probably balancing these will be a mess since our old 36 specs will now become 48. But if this can be implemented properly, the players can really find a class and spec, a style totally fitting with their needs in the long run. And exploring different classes and specs would be really fun. And with those, we come to an end. I hope you like my crazy cray ideas, and I hope our developers can have some fun if somehow they see this. Again, as I tried to emphasize several times while we begin, I really liked Dragonflight expansion. even before it is released. Can't wait for it, and while impatiently waiting, I just made this for fun. I hope you had fun too while watching or listening. Don't forget to check my previous How Would I Do It videos, and of course likes and subscribes, and also rewatching the whole thing at the background to earn me some watch hours are most welcome. Thanks a lot to you all, especially if you have managed to reach at this point. Take care, and most importantly, have fun. Bye.